What is up, everybody? It is the CBC Wizdumb Hour number 143 for Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021. I almost said January. 2021. I'm Steve Witchell in New Orleans in June.
Happy New Year. Tony P coming to you live from New Jersey.
It's actually happy summer now.
It is happy summer, Steve.
It is official. I'm
June,
not happy.
but you said January, so I was getting excited because it's my birthday. But
happy birthday!
Yeah, thanks.
It's my birthday in 2 weeks.
Excellent.
Less than 2 weeks.
It'll be episode 145.
It will be 145 will be after my birthday.
Birthday hijinks, yes.
My birthday is July 4th. So anybody who wants to throw me a birthday present, our tip jar link is in the description.
I sent you some fireworks, so be careful when you open them.
Okay. All right. Well, as long as you didn't put any matches in there.
I may have.
All right.
There may be some incendiary device in there that may ignite upon opening.
All right.
Just for added birthday fun. So forget I said anything, Steve. When you get my present, open it up indoors.
Near an open flame.
Absolutely. Have you ever done indoor fireworks?
No. Why would I do such a thing? That's crazy.
You haven't lived until you do indoor fireworks.
Come on.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, like you were never at a party and someone was passed out sleeping in their room and you threw like a pack of firecrackers in there and closed the door, or even better yet, like an M80 and closed the door.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
M80 is ridiculous. No,
yeah, someone did that at a party and blew a big hole in the rug and the floor, and the guy that was sleeping was also the homeowner was very upset.
Well, yeah.
And then one time we were in Myrtle Beach with the band. We were opening for Jackal. And we played, we were staying in Myrtle Beach, and we got this bright idea. We had fireworks, so we had Roman candles. So we said, let's shoot them off the balcony. But then when we were in the bar downstairs, the guy was like, oh, yeah, no, there's no fireworks within city limits or you'll get arrested immediately. So, not a good idea to do that. So we're like, okay.
Right. So
we get this brilliant idea, a couple hours later that Tom, my bass player, he's in the bathroom. So me and the other guy, another Tom, yelled to him, hey, Tom, like your girlfriend's on the phone. You got to come get the phone real quick, And we have Roman candles on the coffee table, and we light them. And he comes out of the bathroom, and Roman candles and bottle rockets are screaming, down the hallway towards him, not realizing the intense amount of smoke. And you can't put the Roman candle out once it's ignited. So set the fire alarm off, and the fire department came, and I traced it back to our room, and we had to make up some story about burning toast and having a problem.
Wow, yeah, that's very dangerous.
Or even so, on the same trip too, someone was in the bathroom. The thing would be to quickly open the door, throw a pack of firecrackers in there, lit, and close the door and hold it shut.
Oh man, that sounds like a college thing to do, but no,
it was 20 years ago, so it was probably almost college times.
Yeah. Did Jackal? Did he have his chainsaw?
Mm-hmm.
Also dangerous.
Oh yeah, no, had no chain on it, so he was just.
Oh, he's just making the noise.
Yeah, correct.
Pussy. Just kidding.
The club wouldn't let him have the chain on it. It was too.
Yeah, you don't want pyrotechnics indoors, and we learned that from Great White. So
yeah. It wasn't pyrotechnics per se. It was just,
well,
shenanigans.
Facebook user thinks it's pyrotechnics.
Yes. So. We like pyrotechnics, Steve.
And we like Facebook user. They show up every week. That means, by the way, if you're commenting, if you're watching in the Cover Band Central group, you need to click the link that lets StreamYard show your name instead of Facebook user.
Right. Then it will say, John Winkowski, come on down.
It's not, for some reason, not on the page and not on YouTube, which we're streaming on, by the way. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. The link is also in the description for that.
Yes.
That's where all our past Wizdumb Hours are and all of my daily videos are. It's starting to really get pretty loaded up, that channel. So
143 hours of wisdom, baby. Almost too intense to even withstand.
I know. More intense than indoor fireworks.
Can be at times, Steve. It can be at times.
Todd Brown said Todd Brown. So,
what's up, TTB? I'm TB. He's TTV.
I love doing this show every week.
He's TB also. Think about it. He's Todd Brown. I'm Tony B.
That's
He's
right.
Todd B. So TB and TB.
Todd B. Right. TB.
Fantastic combo right there.
TB or not TB?
TB. That's right. Why not?
That is the question.
Tony spelled backwards.
See, Wizdumb Hour, we get into Shakespeare. Like, come on.
TB or not TB. So either you're TB or you're not.
He's awaiting our wisdom.
I just imparted the wisdom. TB.
Right.
You're the same initials. That doesn't get any better than that. Thank you, Steve. I'll see you next week, brother. Have a good one. We're done.
Stop that. No, stick around, Todd. There's plenty of wisdom to come. Hopefully, it usually happens. It just, I don't know.
It's a very objective perspective if the wisdom will be forthcoming or not. But we'll try our best.
We'll try our best.
So what's new and exciting, Steve? What's happening in Steve?
I just got this. I said I wasn't going to say it on air, but I just got this call, and I can't say what it's about. But I'm so excited.
I can't talk about it, but I'm going to tell you how I can't talk about it.
I'm going to tease. It's called a teaser in the biz.
Okay. Let me write that down. Johnny Teaser in the biz. That's a catchphrase. I got it. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, he's right.
I just got this phone call from somebody who wants to embark on a project with me and some others, and it's something that I've been wanting to do for years, and it's going to be a huge project. Huge, like bigger
huge project.
Bigger than you imagine.
Right bigger now. Than the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yes. So once I can divulge, I will. But I'm really excited about it.
I'm happy you're excited about it, Steve. I can't wait to hear more about it, even though I know about it, but I can't say anything about it.
Right. I'm excited to hear more about it too, or to know more about it. I just got a phone call like an hour ago, so
you can talk to yourself about it later.
I will. That's something I do.
That's a good thing to do.
All right. So people are already commenting on what I put in the description about this episode. So we're going to have to get to that.
Get on to it, brother.
And then we'll get on to other things. But I put in
what do you got?
About tip jars. It's a conversation that comes up among many other topics. It's a conversation that comes up often in the Cover Band Central Facebook group, whether using a tip jar is appropriate or not.
And does that get as heated as a result as the tablet on stage?
It's about
phenomenon does.
It's about even.
Because that's pretty incredible. The array of comments on the tablet.
I'll tell you the topics that have a fairly equal amount of heat in their debates. It's
top 5.
It's the tip jar. It's the iPad/tablet on stage. Cargo shorts on stage.
Yep.
Wearing cargo shorts. Using backing tracks. Or not, and
sandals.
What am I missing? Sandals is one, but that kind of goes in the same vein as the cargo shorts thing.
Okay.
So I think there's 4. There might be another one. I can't remember right now.
Nonetheless, good topics for constructive banter.
So I'm gonna put up the. Oh, no, thank you. Don told me the other one, music stands, which is similar to the iPad thing, but it is different. So
similar, but different.
It's similar, but different. So those 5 topics come up every once in a while or all the time. There's this like cycle. It's weird. They're not usually happening at the same time. It's usually one of them is getting a heated thing, but equal amounts of heat, but it doesn't get too bad. It doesn't get too over the top like other things like political discussions do.
Yeah, I think there's more important things to worry about than if someone's using a tablet or backing tracks. It's really not the end of the world,
But I'm just gonna show you the example, and I'm guessing with the comments that are coming in now, because I'm guessing that this guy is commenting on the tip jar situation, and I'm going to show all these comments, and then we're going to talk about it, and there's going to be more comments. Okay, so Jerry Stanislavski. Okay. He said, I think it's bad taste. So that's what he's saying about tip jars. Let's go. I got to scroll back. This is Ruth Ann said in her former band, the guy who brought and set up a tip jar insisted on keeping all the tips. So that's not a good.
Yeah, that's right. Just come back here on the bandstand, drop your checks off by the drummer.
Okay. Robert John said just started after 7 years. I thought it was bad form when we were being paid by the venue. He said he's changed his tune.
Sure, because when everyone's making 50 or $100 more at the end of the night, the tip jar pays off.
And then Don says tip jar is fine as if you don't beg, otherwise it looks douchey. Okay, so all right, Michelle, I'm not going to show you a comment because that's off topic right now, but other people can read it. But okay, so
is the tip jar douchey? I think it depends where the venue you're playing at, right? But I think that tips are always welcome, and if people want to put money in the tip jar, they will. If they don't, they won't. So if you put a tip jar out and it's empty at the end of the night, then that's probably not a place that would be appreciative of having a tip jar. But if you put a tip jar out and you got, $250, $300 in it, that's a pretty good indication that they're receptive to it.
Yes.
So I think you got to use it like a litmus test a little bit, test the waters and see, if the crowd's receptive to it or if someone takes, exception to it, right?
And Luke said, well said. And I mean, this sums it up very simply. Todd TB said tip jars depends on the band of the gig. But I mean, we can go deeper than that because people do get into this conversation.
Again, to your point, Steve, people come up to your band all the time with $100 bill and will say, hey, I want to hear this song.
My situation,
so
is different than most people's situation. I play in New Orleans on Bourbon Street 3 nights a week, and tips are part of the New Orleans culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's anybody who is providing any sort of entertainment type service is accepting tips and is giving you a way to tip them. Everybody in New Orleans, if anybody that's never been here, if you walk around the French Quarter, there are street performers playing music. There are mimes. There are all sorts of people out there basically busking to make some money from tourists. Mm-hmm. And they all have a way for you to tip them. They have a bucket or a can or like this woman rides around on a bicycle and she's got almost like a mailbox kind of thing on it. There's kids that play. They get those. You use them in construction. I don't know what they're called. Those big buckets that you get at Home Depot, big plastic, like strong plastic.
Tobacco bucket, yeah.
Okay, so those kids get those in New Orleans, like these little kids, like 10, 12 years old, and they'll sit on the curb, and they have it turned upside down, and they
percussion
have
drumathon, yeah.
And they have drumsticks and they play drums on it and they lift it up to get little different sounds and stuff, and they're good.
Yeah.
So they have like a separate little bucket for people to give them tips. So I'm in a unique situation because I'm in it. And for bands, we all have tip jars, and bands, in fact, will pass the tip jar around the room several times a night. So, and that's not something that's typical for most people, most gigs where people are using tip jars. They don't actually go around the room. And that I can see how somebody said it sounds like begging. And I could see how you would view it that way in a different circumstance other than being in New Orleans where it's a tip culture. And we get paid by the club. We do get paid. We get a set amount of money per set. And we do a set amount of sets a night. And that is, that is consistent. But that money is the same that's been getting paid to bands for the last 20 years in this city. And cost of living goes up. Prices of things go up. They charge more for drinks, yet we don't get more money. So us collecting tips is an absolute necessity.
Well, it supplements the inflation because you're right. Same thing in Jersey. They haven't raised the price of bands in 20 years.
Right. And it's kind of the same everywhere, I think. So,
In the club, that is, private events is a different story, but I've played private events too, where the host of the party said, hey, he had 200 of his friends there, and he would say at the end of the night, hey guys, band did me a solid. I don't pay them nearly what they're worth. I'm going to pass around a tip jar. Please, throw some money in there, show your appreciation, help out the band.
right. So some good points here. And number one, this is funny because this has happened. Don said, feel free to drop a doobie in the tip jar. And that has happened in New Orleans.
Really?
Oh yeah. We got like weird things sometimes in the tip jars. Like, like doobies or a yo-yo. I don't know. Like little knickknacks that people got. There's these plastic sharks that go
How about,
with.
how about a little army man? You ever get like an army man in there?
No, I would love to
No?
get Army Men.
Or dinosaur?
And so this is a good point about this. Adam says, I found out that if you can bust out random requests on the fly, then a tip jar is a good idea. And that is the truth, because now you're in a sort of give and take situation with the audience where they become more part of the show, and they can come up and you announce it on the mic. You have a request, throw your money in a tip jar. You could have a sign, you could have something written on the actual tip jar to indicate that that's an option. And why not? Why not do that? Why not? It's not tacky. If you're in a situation where that is acceptable.
Well, to Adam's point, it's not just, you don't just have a tip jar out there like you're begging for. It's like people come up and say, hey, here's, $5. I'd like to hear XYZ song. And if you can break it out, correct, then it becomes more of a game. And then the next guy will come up, hey, do you know this song? Do you know that song? And, like you said, people come up and they want to hear Freebird, or they want to hear something that no one else really plays or wants to hear it, but they'll give you $100 for it.
Right. Yeah. And that happens. And people want to do that. Some people, believe it or not, have money and they want to spend it, and they want to spend it on something that they feel is valuable to them.
Especially now.
And if somebody with a lot of money is out with friends or family and having a good time watching your band, and they really, really, really want to hear Sweet Home Alabama, and they're willing to come up to your stage and give you $100 bill to play it, then you damn well should play it. Because you're doing yourself a service, you and your band, making your band more money, and you're pleasing the people that are there already spending money. And that's right. That's what you want to do.
And that's our job.
That's our job. So and Tina is a frequent listener, watcher of this show, and I appreciate this, but I'm going to disagree a little bit with this. She said, we put a decorative glass vase out. We don't label it tips. It's very incognito. It's there if we've earned it and someone feels so inclined to tip. If not, it's something pretty on stage. Okay, I get that.
But if you take the flowers out, people might be more inclined to tip.
I don't think there's flowers in it.
Oh.
It's a decorative glass. She
said decorative, pretty vase,
decorative glass vase. She didn't say there's flowers in it. But
decor.
I've seen cover bands there that have a tip jar on stage, and it's obvious that it is a tip jar or a vase or whatever. So put money in. And I've seen them where it's out of view for most people, and and it's not really labeled and stuff. And to me, when I was watching that band, I was thinking, what is the point of that? Why would you do that? What if I want to give you money and I have nowhere to put it, and I don't know where to put it? Make it easy for people. It's not tacky, especially like in Tina's case, where she's putting something that's decorative on stage that's going to enhance the visual of the stage. There's no reason that you can't give some sort of indication that that's where you can put money. And you can draw something on a piece of paper that's pretty too, that just says, tip the band, or however you want to word it, and put it either
insert money here.
Yeah, something funny, make it. You don't make it so it's an obligation to anybody.
Hey, how about tip jar etiquette? Like if I come up to the band and I want to tip the band $10, but I only have a 20, can I put a 20 in and take a 10 out?
That's happened, but you don't do it. You can't stick your hand in there. That's very bad etiquette for you as a tipper. You don't want to put your hand actually down in it and grab money, because that's bad.
But how about people stealing money out of the tip jar? When
I've really never seen it. Because we keep it in a place for us anyway. It's in the front of the stage. It's on a stool. and it has our logo, the band's logo on it, and it says something like "tip the band," or I don't even know. Tracy
So,
made
so if I'm coming up to the band and it's improper etiquette for me to put my hand in the actual tip jar, and you're in the middle of the song and Tracy's singing, I can come up to her, interrupt her, excuse me, pardon me, I only have a 20. Can you get me $10 change out of that tip jar, please? Because I want to tip the band, but I need
also
money for myself to buy drinks.
also bad etiquette. I mean, you could as a customer there,
There's a
you
lot of
have the
rules in the
option.
tip jar, Steve. I don't, it's,
No, you have the option of going to the bar and saying,
I'm
"Hey, can I
I'm
get?"
tipping you. I'm tipping the band. I should have say in how I want my money. I should even be able to request to say, "Can I get 5 and 5 singles, please, back?" And here's a 20, and I want tipping the band 10. If it's a problem, you know what? I'll go elsewhere where they're more friendly and receptive to making change for
Right.
me.
Well, we will make change, but not in the middle of a song. You don't
Okay.
interrupt the singer in the middle of a song. All right,
All right. I don't
everybody
know.
out
I don't
there.
know. I'm seldom a fan. I'm usually playing.
Right. But we have had that happen where somebody has come up and said, and I think it happens with Tracy when she goes, she's my singer. She goes out in the room and she passes the bucket. And I've seen it, where somebody gives, they want to give a 5, but they only have a 10. And, Tracy's more than willing to dig into there and get him a 5 back. So
Yeah, well, she's out making the
yes,
rounds, so she could play cashier, But what if it's in the heat of the moment? All of a sudden, I get this brilliant. I got to hear
then you got to
"Turning
settle
Japanese"
down.
by the Vapors, and I need to hear it now.
Then you got to settle down there,
And what if
buddy.
I put the tip in and then you don't know the song or you can't do it? Can I stick my
Too
hand in
bad.
and take
No,
my money
no,
back?
no. Once it's dropped, it's done. It's out of your control.
All right, so these are my takeaways. You can't approach the band in the middle of a song to request another song. You have to wait till either a pause or there's a designated representative out in the audience collecting money. You can't make change. You're not a bank, so you're lucky if you even get change. You can't put your hand in a jar, and you should definitely ask if the band knows the song before you put the money in, because if they don't, you're SOL and you're just spent money on hearing the song that someone else wants to hear.
That is an excellent recap of what we just covered.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's the recap on Tip George right there.
That's excellent. I'm gonna edit this out and just post
There we
that
go.
because
There we
that's
go.
exactly the recap that you want. All right, let me catch up on some of these comments. I'm sorry.
And it's not douchey, dependent on the venue.
Yes. Okay. So this is another good point. Gary said, "I'm in a band, but I am going out as a solo acoustic act. Band doesn't set out a tip jar, but I plan to for a solo act, and as you should, any solo performer
Yes.
in any bar, happy hour, club, whatever. You're playing by yourself, playing covers, playing originals, man, but covers, yeah."
I think if you're a solo act or even a duo, you could put a tip jar out regardless of what you're doing.
Yeah.
People dig it, they're gonna give you some money.
If it's appropriate for the venue. If you're playing, obviously, if you're playing a wedding, it's generally not appropriate. If you're playing,
Please come up and feel free to tip the band in between when they're cutting the cake
but
and the
people
first
people
first
will at
band.
a wedding sometimes, and especially the best man who's a little loaded, and he'll come up and he's and he'll like, "Hey, I give you $50 if you let me sing this song." And we're like, "Yeah, sure."
Right.
Um, and corporate events generally
And
is
then you
not a
do that, and then the mother of the bride comes over and she's like, "Cousin Johnny was not allowed to get up on stage. He's" and then the band's in trouble.
yeah,
I've learned that too. You can't just let random people come up and say stuff because sometimes the people get upset.
right.
And especially
At weddings, you mean?
at weddings, yes, correct. Or you're at a wedding and the groom's getting pretty hammered, and he used to be a singer in a band, and all his friends are like, "Yeah, you got to get him up there." So everyone gets him up there, and then it's a disaster. I've
Yeah,
I've I've,
it's
I've been in that scenario too, where the father came up, the groom came up and said, "Yeah, that wasn't a good idea to have him go up and do that." Forever memorialized on his wedding video.
especially if they're playing drums. Like, oh yeah,
No,
my nephew Nicky just learned how to play. Can he come up and play a song with you guys?
yes, definitely.
Brown
I
Eyed
told you,
Girl.
we played that party. The guy goes, "Oh, my friend wants to play drums," and it's the guy who's having the party. I said, "All right, bring him up." And the guy sits down. He goes, "All right, man, what do I do?" Thought you were a drummer. No, I just wanted to play drums. Okay, yeah, not the time to do that.
Right.
Hop up,
Um,
wrap it
and
up.
rap paying for this. I don't understand what this comment means. Let me read it out loud. Bruce Vernon said, "You're right. I've bussed for 45 years. The trouble is most bands play in bars and not paying funds for the use of other bands' materials." Oh, so you're saying it? Okay. So because it's not a song that you wrote, that you shouldn't
be getting tipped.
Okay, that's something.
So as a street performer, that's what we were saying earlier. If you're original or you're playing your own music, I still think it's appropriate to have a tip jar out, right? Because you're getting tipped for your own creation. I think what this gentleman is saying is that you shouldn't be getting tipped for playing covers because you're already being paid by the venue for playing someone else's music.
Right.
And again, you're gonna have all kinds of different perspectives and opinions on this. So everyone's entitled to their thoughts,
Yeah. But I'm not sure if Bruce is saying that he did take tips when he bussed for 45 years. So, I mean, you would think so.
Bruce needs to elaborate on his answer.
Zeb High. Tips are good. Tip jars are good because most times, if not all the time, bands are underpaid. So it helps, he would say. So,
yeah, I would agree.
And yeah, I have to agree with that. It's just
ding, ding, ding. Where's little ding, ding, ding? That's right.
That's right.
Sorry, I didn't have it ready.
There you go. That's right.
Okay, this is interesting. Pete, there's so many comments here, but Pete said tip jar is a foreign concept in Australia. So this is, I guess, perhaps just an American thing.
Could be.
Yeah, and what I was going to say too, what Danny says here is about corporate events. Private events, generally you don't, any sort of private event, you generally don't want to have a tip jar because it does look tacky. Especially, I mean, it's hard to make a tip jar look not tacky because people mostly use like plastic buckets or, fishbowl, something like that. On a piano, a fishbowl is appropriate, right? Like if you're doing a piano gig, that's what they use. It's the fishbowl, right?
I guess.
That's what I've seen. Because there's
fishbowl's usually when you throw your business card in and try to get a free lunch.
Right. That's true.
But
there's in New Orleans, there's a sort of dueling pianos bar at Pat O'Brien's, and they have kind of like a fishbowl thing on stage. And they also and it is expected at that show. It's part of the show that people write song requests on a napkin and they put money with it and they bring it up to the piano and they put it on the top of the piano.
Dueling piano guy we had on that time was talking about that. Remember?
Right. Yeah. All right. So I'm sorry, catch up. Yeah. Tina confirmed that there's no flowers in the vase.
Okay.
Okay. Let's start. All right. So Brian said, request drive the tip jar. It also helps us connect with the crowd. We make the tip jar obnoxiously obvious, which is great, Brian. If that's what you do as a performer, whether it's you and a duo or a band, make it a part of the show. It's fun. It's fun for the crowd. And like I said, Pete, some people have money and some people want to spend money on things that they want. And especially if they're in party mode, they're out having a good time, they're more willing to, and they've had a couple drinks, they're more willing to spend some money on $20 to play a song or $100 or whatever. It depends.
Absolutely. And if there's no tip jar, 9 times out of 10, the person will walk up to the lead singer and be like either looking and then hand the money to someone. If there's no tip jar,
Yeah, they'll try. I've had that happen.
They'll try,
I've had that happen even with a tip jar on stage. People come to my side of the stage and they wave a 5 at me and like, or some people do the strip club thing with the make it rain.
And they're like, and you're like, dude, we're in the middle of a song. Tip jar etiquette. Go back to episode 143.
That's part of tip jar
around
etiquette.
The 23-minute mark.
Yeah, that's part of tip jar etiquette too. Don't make it rain on stage. We're not strippers. We're musicians. Don't do that. It's not fun.
But you'll pick up that money and put it in your pocket, won't you?
Well, yeah, but it's still
you won't
not.
give it back to them.
No, it's still not. It's
Okay.
still not good tip jar etiquette for the customer.
So, dude, when I come down to visit, I'm not going to tell you I'm coming, and I'm going to put my hand in the tip jar. I'm going to be flicking dollar bills. I'm going to interrupt in the middle of songs. I'm going to do all the things you're not supposed to do.
Right. Good. And then you're going to get
And Pete's going to film it.
You're going to get removed by the bouncers.
No, I won't, because I know the band. I'm like, dude, back off.
I'll be like,
man.
I don't know this guy.
Be back off, dude.
I don't know who this guy is.
I'm Jim Witchell.
Jim Witchell. That was my father's name.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Wow. What a.
And so Brian gives you advice here. Brian Cunningham gives you advice here what to do if you want to put less in the tip jar. Break the 20 by buying a beer.
There you go.
Did I show this already? Shelly said we put a tip jar out. Many times we make more than being paid.
You had not put that out, but I would agree with that, because I think you can make more in a tip jar than you might make from what the venue's paying you. If you have a really good night, like you said, you're doing 5 sets, the room's constantly changing over. It's constantly turning over, so it's not the same people in there. And they may request. Here's a good question. Have you ever had the same song requested more than once in a night and someone paid for it?
Yes.
And what song would that be?
I have a good story on that. I have, there was a guy who clearly had a lot of money. It was a Crazy Corner. This was several years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. Crazy Corner on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. And I played in a rock cover band. And we did mostly 80s, 90s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And this guy came up and he gave my singer $100 to play Jesse's Girl. And we're like, Jesse's Girl.
And nobody knew it.
Yeah, right. Then forget it, man. You're fired if you don't know Jesse's Girl. And of course we all knew it. And it's something that we would play probably normally anyway. And so we played it. And then we were done. The same guy came back up and said, play it again. Gave us another 100.
To play it again, back to back.
Play it again. So we were like, okay. Played the whole song again. People were still into it.
I thought you were just going to go right back into it. I wish it I had. Right back in. Just start.
No, we started from the top.
Right from the top.
Right from the top. Played the whole song again. Got done with it. Same guy comes back up. Another $100. Play it again.
So he paid you $300 to play Jesse's Girl 3 times.
3 times in a row.
I thought you were going to say, no, dude, we played it 9 times.
No, that was it. It was 3, and we felt like we had to stop at that. But that guy was so happy, and he was with a bunch of people. And anybody that's put $100 bills in a band's tip jar is walking around with a lot of cash.
For sure.
So he ended up giving us another couple $100 later, and then he left.
Sure.
He left a little while later, like half hour, 45 minutes later. But $500. We owe like $500 in tips already. Like it's early in the night.
That was like the O'Connell party when we played. Remember, I told you the guy come up, you go, $300, keep playing.
Right.
Another hour goes by. Another 300. Keep going. Keep playing. Don't stop. I'll tell you when you can stop.
Okay. So there are a couple of good points here too. Believe me, I'll get to all your comments. A lot of people commenting here. And I want to say this, and I already kind of touched on it, but if you're going to use a tip jar, make it look attractive. Make it something that looks good. And it is really highly advisable that you make it transparent, that it's something that you can see through. So people know what it is. And with that in mind, Adam said it's better to see the tip jar with a 5 or 10 before putting it out there. And I would say that is true. You should do that. But in my case, we don't do that because we pretty much get tips regularly throughout the night. People know it's right there, very prominent in front of the stage, and people in New Orleans know that it's a tip culture, and they know to come up and put.
And when it starts getting filled up, do you guys empty it out?
No, we don't use one that ever gets filled. I mean, do you
bring like a 55-gallon garbage can on stage?
No. Oh my God, no, because it's what Tracy uses is it looks like sort of a fancy bathroom garbage bucket, and it's sort of a what's the word? It's kind of transparent, but it's
opaque.
No,
slightly opaque.
It's frosted. That's the word I was looking for. It's a frosted, so you can kind of see through it. So it looks good, and she has our logo on the front of it, and that's what she uses. And so it's about the capacity of a bathroom wastebasket, I would say. And it's hard to fill that up with cash, because once more cash gets in there, it gets weighted down, and you need a lot of money to fill that thing. So no.
So another
no, we don't
takeaway:
have
when
to.
you're tipping the band, crunch the bill up so it's kind of scrunchy and
No,
drop it in there
no, do
to fill up
not
the
do that.
volume.
That is bad. Also bad etiquette. Write that down.
Fold it up into a paper airplane.
No, put it flat.
What if
or
I
fold
fold
it.
like a tiny little thing so you can't even see what denomination it is, and I say, I want to hear a song. This could be $1. This could be $100. Are you willing to take the bet?
That's funny. There's a guy that would come. He was a regular at the Swamp when I used to play there, and he would come and he would tip us $10, but he would fold the $10 so it looked like it was 100. It was the 100, and he would come up and he'd hold it like that, and he did it every single time he was there. I mean, like a dozen times I saw this guy come into the Swamp and tip us and do the same exact trick, the same exact gag.
And after like a month, you're like, oh, I got it now. This guy's not really putting 100, and he's only putting
No, I
10.
got it after the first time, because
You
I was
thought
like,
that
because I
somebody
thought it was
stole the
100.
money. Thought somebody went in there and made change.
No, I was on to him quick.
Well, he's the only guy tipping, and it's only $10. Yeah.
But yeah, you don't crunch it up. You either put it in flat or you fold it in half.
Crunch it up, dude.
No, because
shoot it in like a basketball from like 3-point land. Be like, yeah.
Yes, we're playing
free
good cop,
bird.
bad cop right now.
Free bird.
No, it's because at the end of the night, it has to be counted. And if it's rolled up in a ball, you have to unroll it and flatten it.
Listen, money's money. You could crunch it. You could throw it. You could lick it. You could step on it. You can crunch it up. You can fold it. You can origami it. It's all welcome in my tip jar. We don't discriminate.
Okay, so this comment's going to cover our faces, but here we go. Here we go. Kevin Hayes says, we put out a tip jar after receiving so many people asking where ours is. We used a plastic jar that looks like a wine carafe that unscrews from the bottom on Amazon. We put a neon glow stick in it and salt the jar with a 5 and 3 ones, exactly $8. We also supply our PayPal VR code for them to scan, which is a good idea. PayPal, Venmo, have a sign for that, and having the VR code is a great way to go.
Why the $8 though, and not 9 or 7?
I don't know. They settled on 8. They like even numbers.
Inquiring minds want to know, Steve.
Okay, so Gary said he'll tell people to write your request on a $5 bill, and if he doesn't know the song, he'll donate the money to a good cause, which is generally
gas on the way home.
Another beer.
Yeah, a worthy cause.
Okay, so this is a little throwback to the beginning of this discussion, but Robert John said probably number 6 on the heated arguments list is that overplayed songs, a la Mustang Sally, Wagon Wheel, Brown Eyed Girl. So
money talks and we play them all.
Well, yeah, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go the rest of my life without playing Brown Eyed Girl and be
Listen,
fine.
I can relate to that too. Same thing with like American Girl, like there's just certain songs that are played to death, but people love them and they want to hear them and they want to keep hearing them. Like Jesse's Girl, they want to hear it 3 times in a row. So if you come to New Orleans, Tom gave me a great idea. If you come to New Orleans and you start sticking your hand in the tip jar.
Yeah. Put a mousetrap. There you go.
Great idea, Tom.
That's a great idea.
I'm stealing that one.
The first patron that has broken fingers, they won't sue anybody. That'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, and once you put the tip in, you're fully committed. That's it. You drop that money, it's gone. It's gone. It's like putting it in a.
Listen, it's like putting the tip in anything. You're committed, man.
Right. Well, all right. Tony said that he's seen plenty of tip jars at weddings, mostly at the bar, and I've seen him. The bartenders at weddings take tips. They do take tips.
They do,
but the band doesn't. So that's an interesting issue. Why did the bartender get to do it and the band doesn't?
It's a good point, Steve. I'm going to bring that up next wedding I'm at. I'm going to put a giant mailbox-sized tip jar out there. It's going to say tips. It's going to be painted black, flames on it.
That's an interesting. I hadn't considered that.
Definitely get people's attention.
Yeah, I mean, Tony says concept of tipping sucks. In a perfect world, you would get the right wage. But there's the debate. You ever see Reservoir Dogs,
Mm-hmm.
the movie? And there's the scene with Steve Buscemi. He's Mr. Pink, and he says he doesn't tip. They're at the restaurant. He doesn't tip. I don't tip. And then other people are getting on him about tipping, and he doesn't think it's.
Listen, some people are into
deserve
tipping, some people aren't, and like you said, when people have a lot of money, they and they're blessed, they feel like they want to give it away and be generous with it.
Right.
God bless them.
Fish bowls are king. Tony Roll said, and Tina made a good point. Yeah, the piano giant sifting glass. That's the right.
Yes.
Thing for a tip jar. Yeah, and Danny said the same thing. Giant brandy snifter for piano gigs. It's Danny Wild, my buddy. And Tom uses his tips wisely to buy cargo shorts. And if you save up your tips, you can buy an iPad and a music stand and backing tracks.
Yes, and you could wear sandals.
Would a 5-gallon bucket be acceptable? Alex asked, and I think probably not. That's asking a little too much.
That can hold a lot of dollars, though, Steve, if they are crunched up.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you don't get a lot in there, it looks very empty, and that's not the.
And that would be awful big to walk around with too. Like if you were making a lap around the bar looking for cash.
Right. I'll see. This is clever. I like this. Kyle says we have a nice stainless ice bucket with a tip your driver sign because the name of the band is the Lakeshore Drivers.
So very slick, Kyle.
Clever. I like that.
Yes.
See, that's it. If you use a little humor, there's no harm.
Well, it seems less douchey too than just a plastic, cheese puff container with a couple of singles in the bottom and tips written on it. It works, but you can definitely get more creative with it. And like you said, it can be a lot less offensive if you put a little bit of thought into it.
Agreed. And Brian said a band he was in years back, played originals and covers. They were paid for our first album recording out of a weekend's tips. High rollers were in the venue and dropped hundreds all night. What if the jar hadn't been there? Exactly. You have to have it there.
You'd missed out on all those tips.
Give people an opportunity to pay you. Give them a way to pay you because people want to.
And then to your point too, Steve, if the rest of the band is not buying in and they're like, well, we don't believe in a tip jar. We don't want to do a tip jar. Then you say, okay, well, listen, I'm going to put out a tip jar. I'm going to make one. I'm going to decorate it. I'm going to put it out and we're going to see what happens. And if we get money in it, I'm going to keep it. And I bet you after the first gig, when there's $100 in there, everyone changes their tune.
Right. And Dave makes a good point here. He says, if you're already getting paid, it's up to the club owners. If you're not getting paid, benefit or charity event, tip jar all day.
Correct.
And I would say yes-ish. Sometimes I don't think I don't need permission from the club owner. Sometimes. But maybe if you want to really be in good standing with them, then it's probably a good idea to ask.
You know what's cool too? I played a charity gig once years ago, and the band put a tip jar out, and then at the end of the night, they donated all the tips back to the charity.
Oh, there you go.
As another gesture, just for some extra money as a donation from the band.
Right. And this is the new thing: crypto tip.
Mm-hmm.
Some Bitcoin tip. Don't give me Bitcoin. I don't want it. John answered it in one word: situational.
That's what we said earlier. Depends on the venue.
Right.
Absolutely. But to your point, if it's a place you play every week and it's accustomed to having that, it just becomes part of the, the stage attire.
Yeah. Yeah. The part of the show, part of the whole look of that. Like Donnie does. Oops, wrong one. Donnie does. They always have a tip jar out. It's a 5-gallon bucket that's painted glow in the dark, and they have anywhere between $60 and $300 for our event in tips alone, which is good-ish for a 5-gallon jar.
Listen,
Even
it's $300.
is not a lot of money.
No, but it's 300 more than you had when you walked in, regardless if it's a pickle jar or a 5-gallon bucket. You know,
I pick up.
you just need a place for people to put cash.
You could definitely fill a pickle jar pretty easily, I think.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't be able to put the tip in there without put your hand going in it.
Right. And like Gary said, he wouldn't do a tip jar charity event unless it was donated back to the event. And that should be a given. Yep. That should be given for anybody. Obviously, if you're playing for some sort of charity, you're donating your time and your services to raise money for that charity. So anything that is generated during that event
should go back.
Goes to that charity. That should be just a given. An ammo can. I don't know what that even means. Scott said he uses an ammo can better than a plastic pitcher. What's an ammo can?
Ammunition. It's a can you buy ammunition in. Empty ammo can.
Yeah, we kind of touched on this, Chris, already. He said, what about credit card tipping? Any realistic options? And the best way to go is to do a PayPal or a Venmo.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a Venmo for your band with the band's name. You know, whatever the band's name is, create a Venmo account using that name. And same thing for PayPal. PayPal, you want to do PayPal.me, like I have in the description for the tip jar for Cover Band Central. So if you want to tip Cover Band Central, click on that. And you'll see it's PayPal.me. And you can, if you have a PayPal account, you can create a PayPal.me account that is exclusively for tips, and you can name it after your band. So that's the way to go. Put up a sign, and somebody said before about a VR code. So
yeah,
do that so it can be scanned. So that's the realistic options, Chris. Yeah, and I've seen this happen too. Carrie Miller says some gigs an enthusiastic fan walks around with a tip jug and people are responsive. And I've seen that happen too. It happens to us all the time where somebody is psyched and they'll get on stage, stand on the first step and take the tip jar and lift it up in the air. And we allow that as long as they don't start walking around the room with it, then that's no good.
What if they start walking around the room with it and they just start emptying it, like throwing the money into the air? Like, yeah.
That would be crazy. I'd never seen that. I've seen people knock it over. That's happened a lot, actually. Knock it over and there's money all over the ground. And
so then you shouldn't walk up to the tip jar with two hands, stick it in, pull the money out, and throw it onto the band. Like, yay!
No.
Like confetti. No
also
good?
Write that down. That is
no
bueno. 7 in tip jar etiquette no-nos.
I'm going to have 10 do not, like poor etiquette things, and I'm going to do all of them when I come visit you.
Please don't.
I'm going to have to put fake money in the tip jar. I'm going to walk up with like photocopied bills.
Monopoly money.
Folded just so you can't see the front and be like, yeah, dude, $100. Play that.
See,
Play Jesse's Girl 15 times for me.
Monopoly money would be funny.
Then the other night you open up and be like, what?
Some guy actually a few weeks ago had a wad of $2 bills. And he put
I like $2 bills. Yeah.
I love $2 bills. And he put like I'm not shitting you. He put like $42 bills in the tip jar. And at the end of the night, each of us got like 10 or 8. Like I think I got 8 $2 bills. And nice. I love it because I have my little cash savings.
$2 bill collection.
I do. I have it too because I give them to my nieces for birthdays and stuff. And I just like having it. They're neat.
That's funny because a buddy of mine years ago used to get $2 bills from the bank. Like every Friday, he would get like, $100 worth of $2 bills, and he would tip people with $2 bills. And they would remember him because it was like a novelty thing.
It's a novelty.
Yeah.
It's not really generally used in cash transactions. And
correct.
It was a failed attempt at a new bill back in the late 70s.
But they're still in circulation. You can still get them.
Still get them. You go to the bank and ask for them.
Yep. $2 bill.
And yeah, Brian answered the question about the credit card thing, but he said PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App is the other one, which I've never used, but I've seen a lot of people use it. So Cash App is another option to take tips via digital. Um,
So consensus on the tip jar is it's pretty much widely accepted. People are receptive to it. They like it. They will put money in it. So it seems like a good thing. Situational, right? Not appropriate for all venues. And if it is a benefit, you want to give the money back at the end.
Right. And Jeremy asks, has a band tip option ever been tried on the recipe at restaurants / bar and grills? I wouldn't say the recipe, the menu, I think he means.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think most restaurants or bars are going to work it into their menu like as a part, because they're not benefiting from that. So it's really up to the band. You can't expect the venue to.
What if you have a guy at
promote
the
you.
door with the bouncer who says, much like a restaurant, the gratuities included? So how much do you think you're going to drink tonight with you and your friends? And if they say, we're going to get plastered, we'll probably spend $100. You say, okay, then you have to pay me $15 right now as a vig to go back to the band.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Jeremy was clarifying. He meant receipt, not recipe. So so at a restaurant, you get your tab and
right. So he's
if
saying
there's a band playing,
you can tip the band, right? Band tip option.
And I've seen there's a meme out there, or there's pictures out there of that, and I've never been in a situation where that's been an option. Have you? I've never seen that.
No, but I'm going to start mentioning it.
Yeah, I mean, if I would say if there's a venue, a restaurant, or a bar that serves food that regularly has live entertainment, it's built into their business.
You tell them, hey, Luigi, you're going to put this on the receipt for the.
Yeah, if it's built into their business, I would say, I would say then that's probably a good option for the venue to do that, to give people a way to give thanks to the band.
Yeah, until the end of the night, he says, "Oh, so sorry, Tony. Nobody put no tips on anything."
Right.
Sorry. Very.
Yeah, that's a thing you have to work out business wise. But I mean, it's not a bad idea. It's just not up to the bands. It's up to the venues to implement something like that.
Listen, any stream of additional revenue that you can generate at a gig, no different than merch or anything that you would, selling things or tips. It's all money in the band's pocket. So, you have to look at it like a business. So why wouldn't you want to try to, make effective use of your time to get the most beneficial amount of money that you can for the time that you're spending at the gig?
Agreed. And I love this idea. This is a fantastic idea. Scott said they give out koozies next to our tip jar. It works really well. So that's a very good incentive. Like, throw in some money, get a free koozie.
Yeah.
With our band's name and website on it.
Exactly. Keep your beer cold while you're walking around inside the bar.
Right. So that's a win-win right there. You're getting
win.
It keeps your beer cold. You're giving something back. You're getting some money. You have a way to advertise your band that somebody's going to use. And yeah.
And you're not just tipping, you're walking away with a material purchase.
Right. Well, it's not even a purchase too. And it doesn't, and that's better because it doesn't feel like a purchase. Like, hey, throw in $1, you get a free koozie. Throw in $5, you get a free koozie. $10, whatever it is you can afford, you get a free koozie.
That's it.
It's promo, right? Like Scott said, promo. Perfect. I love that idea.
Even for the people walking up stealing the koozies.
Yeah.
Free advertising.
I love that idea, especially if you can get something that's very inexpensive. If you can get, 1,000 koozies made for cheap for like $100, then
they can't be much if you buy them in bulk.
Yeah. So then there you go. You're making your money back and then some. So that's a win-win-win-win-win.
Like free.
Yeah. I love that idea. I'm going to steal that idea, Scott.
Koozies.
I'll give you credit. I'm not going to use koozies. I'm going to do something else.
You're going to use kazoos because you read it wrong. But too, that guy was giving away kazoos, man. It was like people were playing them during the gig. It was really disruptive. I don't think it's a good idea.
No, kazoos is not.
Oh, koozies. Okay, sorry. I thought you said kazoo.
And we're nearing the end of the show, and Jason asked, "What is the going rate for a band?" And that is a loaded question because there's so much that I would need to ask you.
Whew.
Going
Yeah.
rate for what kind of band, at what kind of venue, in what location? There's too many questions. And we only have
But I would
4
say
minutes
the
left.
easy answer is like for a full band, 5-piece band at a bar up here in Jersey, the average pay is gonna be $500
Ah, 4-piece band.
for up to even a 5-piece band, 4-piece or 5-piece band. No bars are gonna pay more than $500. Who, what, where, when, and why?
That's
You know,
what you have to ask Jason to
correct.
discussion.
But that is the
Five.
starting.
That's
Yeah,
dude. I mean, that's even
yeah.
less than it was when I was
And
there 10
that's why
years ago.
sure, but that's why you go to private, events, and then you may find, one or two places that might pay 750, but gone are the days of the nine. We used to play kites. It was $900 all day long,
Yeah,
and,
Kites was a good pay to get.
we had tip jar, and we would all make good money.
Ugh.
No more kites is a $500 room. Yeah, $500 to $700 tops.
I'm so glad I left. No offense.
Yeah.
No offense to you or New Jersey, because I still love New Jersey.
No, but don't forget, you could play a place like the Black River Barn, right? They're going to pay you $500, and you're going to play from 9:30 to 1:30. At least the band I'm playing in now, the gigs are only 3 hours, so $500 is palatable for 3 hours. You're only playing, 2 to 5 in the afternoon, or it's easy gigs. It's not like marathons, where you're playing, 4 sets for $500. It's a waste of time.
Agreed. And Dale said he wouldn't load the truck for under 600. Too much work.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, no one's going out for less than $100 a man. For any gig.
Yeah. I mean, but it's just sad, man, that it's. I was making the same and more 11 years ago when I lived in Jersey, 12 years ago. It's depressing.
Bands used to make more. The pay has been going steadily down.
It is my goal, my mission to elevate cover band musicians around the world so we get paid better. That is seriously part of my mission as Cover Band Central, as the Cover Band Central guy. So
do it, CBC.
Is that enough wisdom for you for an hour? I think we did pretty good, Tony.
Maybe, I think so. But we can revisit that topic on pay.
Yes,
on episode 144.
Maybe 145. Who knows? You got to stay tuned. You got to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yeah, that's how you'll know. That's how you know you'll be notified when we go live, and that's where all the previous episodes are archived. The link is in the description. Please click that and subscribe. We need to build up that YouTube channel, and we want you to be a part of it because you are the reason we do this. And also, I got to show the other stuff. CoverBandCentral.com. You could sign up for a profile for you, your band, or both. It is free. Do that too. And I put it in the description since we were talking about tip jars this whole hour.
Yeah.
If you want to tip Cover Band Central, it's paypal.me/CoverBandCentral. Because we do this for free, guys. 143 hours of free content. And if you want to give a little back, that's how you do it. The link is in the description for that as well. And great conversation on this. And Gary loves it. Oops, Gary said great info, guys.
Get some kazoos going. One guy said, yeah.
And get some
kazoos.
Koozies to everyone. So we'll report back on that. But thank you guys for watching and being part of this. And we will see you
next week for episode 144. Take care, brother.
Bye.